let's talk about Mario Cristobal. So Miami has to go to Chapel Hill to take on a resurgent um, North Carolina team right now. But the problem is you could also call Miami resurgent. And I'm sure everybody knows what happens this weekend, right? Miami's undefeated. They're on the road. Or excuse me, they're not on the road. They're at home, right? Or is it on the road? No, it's at home. It was in Miami, right?
This past weekend was in Miami.
Yeah. Yeah, that's okay. They're in
Hey,
Miami. They're playing
you missed
Georgia
the end of my
Tech.
game last night. I had a slight jab at Miami in my
Ooh,
football
what'd you
game.
say? What'd you say?
Well, Liberty was taking a knee because they won the football game, and I just kind of said, if Miami's watching this game, get your notebook out, take some notes. This is how it's done when the game's over.
Oh my God, dude. Okay, so this is what's crazy though. This is what's crazy is so Miami goes from being undefeated to now losing in what we would agree is probably the worst coaching decision I've ever seen in my life, hands down.
Yes.
Like you can say, okay, well, Notre Dame had 10 guys on the field for 2 plays against Ohio State to win the game. True, but that's human error. This was a conscious decision of we're going to run the ball. Like a conscious choice was made. And what's wild, Aaron, is how much good Mario Cristobal eliminated in one bad choice because Miami was back. Miami's win over A&M is one of the best in the entire year. A&M's not bad. That's a pretty good football team. And they kind of ended up smoking him by the end. And it was a back and forth affair. And they ended up winning big. Miami right now, Aaron, you look at the stats. They're the second scoring offense in the ACC. They're the second scoring defense in the ACC. Like they're getting it done on both sides of the ball. And yet now what we're doing, we're all just clowning them. All just clowning them and telling them that they suck because of one just god-awful decision.
First off, I want to go back. I thought you were referring to the game this past weekend being in Miami. Yes, the game, for those in the chat, the game this weekend is in North Carolina. It's
yeah, I was. Sorry, I was talking about last week. No, the game is at UNC this weekend. Yeah.
Okay, just clarifying for everyone. We do know the game is in Chapel Hill this weekend, which is going to be a good one. I'm with you. It's a good Miami football team. Like I know it was not their best performance versus Georgia Tech, but every elite team this year has had moments like that. Like, Texas versus Wyoming had moments. They found a way to win the football game. Georgia's had some.
Wyoming's good, but continue.
Wyoming is good. Yes, Wyoming is actually like 5-1 this year.
They would be a playoff team in the 12-team playoff. They would be your group of 5 team right now.
I don't know. Liberty might be. Liberty's undefeated.
Oh, okay. You're right. Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know. Whatever. But Wyoming's point differential is like plus 15 right now, so they're just skating by this entire season. But they're winning football games, so good for them. But they have performed, going back to my point, like they have played really well. Like they have shown, Tyler Van Dyke is taking his game to another level. T-Bob just sent a message out to the group. He's number 3 when it comes to PFF grading right now.
Yeah.
And that's even after having a bad game versus Georgia Tech. That just tells you how good he was to start the football season. So yeah, Miami seems like they're back, but then there's 2 problems. One, you have a coach who can't manage the game. And 2, for this was the game for Miami, where if you bought tickets to the game versus A&M, you got a free ticket to the Georgia Tech game. It was a buy one, get one free kind of thing, and it was still empty. It was still empty.
Bro, the U doesn't care. They're not going to care about football. I told you.
I told you. UCLA was rolling, yet I would still turn on the tape, and the stadium was empty. Same
UCLA has a top 3 defense in the country this year, and I doubt anyone in Los Angeles knows.
Yeah. It's hard for me to fully say a team is back when you have that much momentum, yet your fan base still doesn't give a damn. Like that plays a major role in like the longevity, because it was a massive recruiting weekend. There was a lot of top recruits there. I think they actually did get a big time commitment. But when you're a top recruit and the game ends like that, and you look around and there's no one in the stands, like if you want to be truly back, Miami, it takes everyone to buy in. Everyone. And they don't have the full buy-in.
Until they get a new stadium. I know this is such a douchey elitist thing to say, but it does feel like, yeah, look, John says it. They desperately need an on-campus stadium. That'd be such a huge help to their program. I agree. I've heard it's hard to get to. It's not enjoyable. And so and I've had to apologize to Miami before because I said the U will never be back. But a lot of that was because the fans. I don't think they care, but
they don't.
We'll see. Does Cristobal lose the locker room is a good question. I think that kind of depends on how they feel about Cristobal. If they believe in that guy and they genuinely like him on a player to coach basis, then no, you'll say fuck it and you'll ride with your guy. If they think that their coach is kind of a dumbass to begin with, and then this happens, then you start to grumble, you kind of side eye, and I mean, I just keep thinking about the player that you tweeted out, Aaron, who's on the sideline. He's got tears in his eyes and he's looking at the scoreboard. What the fuck are we doing, man? Like, so it's the same thing with Mark Stoops. Does Mark Stoops lose the locker room with his comments? Not if they like Mark Stoops, but if the players don't, and he's talking about how much better Georgia players are, then maybe it's kind of like, you know what? Fuck this guy. So I can't answer if I think Cristobal loses the locker room or not. What I do think is Miami loses the game in Chapel Hill this weekend, but not because Miami, because UNC's badass, dude. UNC's badass.
So you don't think it changes your mind at all if Miami won that football game last week and they came in undefeated?
Hell no. UNC's undefeated.
I know.
Hell no.
UNC's
they both got SEC wins. Tyler Van Dyke and Drake May are both great.
Miami's win is far better than North Carolina's win.
I mean, but better. UNC whooped South Carolina's ass.
I know they did, but far better win what they did.
Whatever. The point is, Drake May hasn't even played that well. He had 5 touchdowns and 4 picks in last week, and they were undefeated.
Yes, this was Drake's first game where you feel like, okay, like this is the Drake May that we thought we'd get this year, but.
And they got Tez Walker back finally until they got its head out of its ass.
And I hate to say this, but like I hate to pull the whole schedule thing out, but their schedule has been cupcake.
It's in Chapel Hill, and Gene Chiswick has given up sub 20 a game.
Who have they played?
South Carolina. Syracuse. Syracuse is supposed to be good.
App State. They gave it 34 to App State.
Well, but that doesn't count. UNC always gives up a shit ton of App State. They allowed 40 points in the fourth quarter alone in that game last year.
Or Syracuse had a benefit from an easy schedule to start the season. I think I do. Listen.
Okay. I mean, who the fuck is Miami beat? Texas A&M kind of sucks. We can play this game all day.
Texas A&M does not suck.
They don't suck, but it's whatever. But let's not crown Miami like they're.
I think it's gonna be a great game.
Let's not. Even if they didn't lose to Georgia Tech, they played shitty against Georgia Tech. UNC has not played shitty all year long.
I'll tell you this. For me, I like both teams. Both teams have played well on offense. Both teams played well on defense. I think this is a very even matchup. So where do I go? Of course, I go to the quarterback position.
Yeah.
Who do I trust more in this football game? And there's no doubt in my mind that I trust Drake more. Drake May way more than Tyler Van Dyke. And then Taylor Van Dyke is
why are we arguing then if we're agreeing this entire time?
Just to kind of build the suspense a little bit. No one wants to watch two guys just agree on everything.
It was such a weird misdirect. That was a true counter of a take that you just hit me with. You started all the action, fake jet sweep, jab step to the right, then came back to the left of the pulling guard.
I covered 2 triple option teams last night. So, I mean, it's all about the misdirect. It's on my head right now. No, it goes to the quarterback spot. Like Drake May is the better of the two. He's been the more over the length of his career, been the more consistent. Yes, Van Dyke has been better this year, but he's also coming off, a 3 interception game this past week versus Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know, Danny
his old ways start creeping back up all of a sudden, where Drake May's coming off of a 4 touchdown game.
Yeah, to no picks. And now 5 touchdowns to no picks the last 2 games for Drake after kind of struggling a bit early on. Johnson's acting like a married couple. Good call. Danny Bonilla, what the hell's wrong with y'all? I don't know. All right, what the hell's wrong with Jimbo Fisher? I don't know, Aaron, that there is a better example. So you're half Catholic, half Jewish. If y'all don't know, isn't that hilarious? It's crazy. So you are familiar with the idea of purgatory, right? Kind of stuck between heaven and hell. Never, not eternal life, but not eternal pain either. Yeah. But not eternal life. I don't know that there's a better example of college football purgatory than what Texas A&M fans are experiencing right now and have experienced over the past 10 years. Like, I know 5-7 last year was awful, but that's as close to being awful as you're probably going to get in the Jimbo era. Like, this year's probably more representative of who you're going to be under Jimbo Fisher, which is pretty good.
Yep.
But I don't know if you're maybe even like borderline great, but never championship worthy. And I don't know what the out is, because the buyout's $70 million right now. $60 million the next, $50 million the next. So it's like if you wanted to get to a point where it's even palatable, you got to wait 4 to 5 years. Do you have that sort of patience? Can you justify paying somebody
It ain't
50
gonna
not
get
to work?
better. It ain't
What's
gonna
the
get
difference between
better.
70 and 50? I
Yep.
mean,
It ain't
it's
getting better.
awful.
This roster this year is like they've reached the top of the mountain. Like this is as good as it's gonna get for Jimbo. You've had elite recruiting classes. Maybe you could say, hey, next year that amazing class we had a season ago, they'll be junior. So maybe next year we'll give them another opportunity to see if that class can save them now that they're 3 years in the system. But you have 4 and 5 star guys. You have the best facilities in America. You have NIL through the wazoo. You have an incredible stadium. You have an incredible fan base. Like there's nothing that A&M wants or needs at all. Yet they continue to underachieve year in and year out. It will not get better than what it is right now, sadly, because you have everything and you still can't manage it well.
You know what's crazy? In a classic purgatorial faction, and bro, just let me know when we have Aaron in our chat and we can welcome him in. But in a classic purgatorial fashion, I think A&M wins this weekend. I
I do
actually think
too.
A&M
I do
goes
too.
on the road
I do
in
too.
Neyland. The only thing that gives me pause is that Tennessee's coming
We're
off a bye week.
we're gonna break this
Uh,
down tomorrow. Don't peek too soon now.
okay, chill out. But well,
Don't
it's
peek too
simple though.
soon.
It's 2 sentences. Nobody in the conference averages allowing less than 3 yards a carry, save for A&M. Great run defense. No
Yes.
one averages more than 6 yards a carry, save for Tennessee. Great rush offense. That said, after watching what A&M did at Alabama, I'll take A&M in that battle. So it's weird. It's not a disaster in College
Yep.
Station. I think they're going to go on the road to get a very big win this weekend, but it's there's just going to be always something holding you back. I don't,
Mhm.
I mentioned now, this has been A&M for 50 fucking years. This
Yeah.
has been A&M since Bear Bryant left. They have all the geographical, economic buy-in. The buy-in's unparalleled. Nobody has more buy-in than A&M. We all make fun of them for being cultists. And they can't figure it out.